I was born and raised in Iran to a Christian minority family with Assyrian ethnic background. But I was educated mostly in India from age 9 to 17 in a British school for boys. After that, I came to San Luis Obispo, California, and studied animal husbandry at California State Polytechnic College, sometimes called Cal Poly. I came to the U.S. to go to college, having determined that I would never be a teacher, I would never be a preacher, and I would never go to college. But in our part of the world, when your dad says you go to college in California, you go to college in California and no discussion. So I'm on my way. I land in New York City, and my aunt meets me there, takes me to church on Sunday. And while the pastor's preaching, without me recollecting anything that he says, I get this mental message: I want you up there someday. I never want to be a preacher. Why does he want me up there? And then that afternoon, without me saying anything to my aunt, she says, maybe you ought to consider the ministry. So what's going on here? These messages that are totally opposite to my desires. Well, with that, I went to California, and I experienced college life in a dorm for guys. And the guys couldn't care less about this foreign student who had a strange accent. But in the middle of all that, there was a knock on my door one evening. There was an American professor, an American student, and an Armenian student from Lebanon. And they were going around passing out New Testaments to those who would take it, to the freshmen, and inviting us to their club meeting, which was InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. These were the first people who showed any kind of friendliness. So I went, and over the next 2 months, I experienced people who were my age, who knew God and enjoyed Him. I never met anybody like that before. And slowly they began to share with me about Jesus coming into the world, why He came to bring us into a right relationship with God. And so I accepted Christ, and all my desires changed. Nobody had to tell me to read the Bible. I just went to it and loved it. It came alive to me. And I found myself talking very freely to Jesus. Anywhere. I didn't have to be on my knees in the chapel reading a book. And He started changing my character. Those were the early experiences. Behind it is the commitment that I made to follow Jesus' commission to make disciples of all nations. I did that at about 17, 18. And I told you I took animal husbandry. Well, it became clear to me I didn't want to be a husband to animals. I wanted to give my life to people. So in the next decades, I served among young people in Lebanon, Iran, India, and then among international students here in the United States. At one point in that process, I sensed the Lord saying, I want you to do something for Muslims. thought, okay, well, what are the deepest desires of their hearts? For 1400 years we've been banging heads with each other. I wanted to be able to speak to their hearts. So I asked God to show me how to find out what the yearnings of their hearts were. And He gave me a one-question survey. If God were to communicate to you in a dream that He will grant you the deepest desires of your heart, what will you ask for? That question came to me while I was working out in the gym. So we sent this out to people who are working among Muslims around the world and asked them if they would ask their Muslim friends that question and then send us the results. Well, we got back over 1,300 responses, and one of the top yearnings of their heart was peace. That's what led me into this. Decided, okay, let me write something along these lines that would be meaningful to people in the Muslim world. So I created a story that takes place in Beirut, Lebanon, because that's where my early days of service were. Both our children were born there, so I have a deep connection with Beirut. And the whole story revolves around God communicating to a Lebanese doctor in a dream that He would grant him the deepest desires of his heart if he would ask for it. So the whole story developed in that kind of atmosphere. Actually, I can already tell you that the response of people to the story is, this is so true to life. The relationships that are developed in the story, this is so true to life. One person who read it said she cried because it described her situation. They will feel an identification that this is what I am looking for. It may not be quiet. In many cases, it's very real. I mean, you know what's going on in the Middle East. You know what's going on with the Gaza and the West Bank and Iran and all this kind of stuff. It's very, very. It's not only a personal piece, it's a societal piece, it's an international piece. So it's very, the need is great. People want peace. Well, we found this group of people in Lebanon called Horizons Lebanon, who have a well set up technology in Beirut. They've made all kinds of videos. We have checked those out. They are going to have their own screenwriter. They have their own actors, and everything in the production aspect of the film, the videos, will be in Lebanon. Their only need is to be able to finance it. You have to pay for all these things. The potential for this series of videos is really literally to reach millions of people, particularly aimed at the Gen Z and the Gen A Alpha generation. They are into the internet like everybody else is in the world. So the potential for millions of people seeing this is great. And we're asking God to use it to draw people to the Prince of Peace. Well, we need your partnership in financing the whole project, and ask you to pray over it and ask God to give you a direction on it. We'll be grateful.